everyone, and welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I'm your host, Stan Rattan, and this is the Blue Collar Wine Show, where I try to help you spend your wine dollars wisely. And I have to say, it's been a while since I've done an episode. We got through the 4th of July at the store I work at. Very busy there. Lots going on. I haven't had a chance to do these. I thought about doing them at lunch, but I was so tired from working so hard. And a little shout out to my new assistant, Scott, who did a fantastic job. Even though he's very new to this, he did a good job of, keeping up with things. So we were selling a lot of stuff. And, it was great 4th. The weather is still, we haven't had any rain in a long time around here. And a lot of, we have bad fire up in Canada, up in the north, and the smoke has been drifting down this way. It's clearing up a little bit today, which I'm kind of excited about. Episode 218. 218. And when I first started this thing, I thought it'd be way further along than this, and life is busy, as you all know. So I'm not sure if I'm not getting enough content out there for you or not. I do appreciate a comment I got from Mr. Burns on one of my past episodes saying that maybe I could do a terroir episode, blind terroir. Red Mountain, Horse Heaven Hills, maybe the Columbia Gorge. That would be fun. Good idea, Mike. That's on the docket to do that. But today what I'm going to do is, I thought it'd be interesting to do wines that have gotten some press, and one that didn't get press but got a really big thumbs up from my group at a wine tasting I did. They really liked it, and I have not tried it yet. I didn't get a chance to try it at the tasting. I was way too busy, and there were a lot of people there, and we just, didn't get a chance. Didn't get a chance to do it. Recently, Forbes magazine did an article, and they talked about 3 great values from Washington State, and one of those values was the 2013 Buried Cane Cabernet Sauvignon. This rolls in at $14. It's interesting when somebody gets press like that, how quickly people respond and look for those things. And one of my good customers came in and said that they read this article about these great values from Washington State, and they wanted to try it. Interesting, the Middleton family, one of the dudes lives on the island. I'm trying to think if I know him. He's never really introduced himself as one of the owners of this group of winemakers. I think I know him. In fact, I was thinking about this and I thought, is that Pat? I'm not sure. Interesting. Anyway, this got some press. I have not tried it yet. 2013, $14. Great price point, by the way. There's the label. Buried Cane. Now that refers to a practice they do, especially in Walla Walla, because they have a freeze every once in a while that kills the vines. They bury one of the canes from the vine into the ground, bury it, and then if there's a big freeze, this cane survives and they can restart the vine. So that's sort of buried cane. A lot of wineries practice that in areas where they have really bad freezes in the wintertime. So, let's give it a whirl. Right off the bat I get currants and cherries. It's actually kind of bright fruit right off the bat. Just like boom, hit me. A little bit of violets coming through. There's some tobacco notes. I really like the violets, and I like the brightness of the fruit. You know how you smell wine sometimes? And by the way, when I did this little class I did, Stan the Wine Man 101, we really talked about smelling the wine and how that really improves the experience. And I don't want to get on my soapbox here about that, but I would just encourage you to just take a moment and smell it. Whether you get those aromas out of the wine doesn't really matter, does it? Because aromas are based on your past experiences, your ability to smell. I mean, we all don't have those fantastic olfactories where we can smell things the way other people can. But yeah, there's like a raspberry element coming through. I really like the nose on this. Let's see what we get on the palate. Kind of interesting. This is fruitier than I remember past Buried Cane vintages, but I like it. I like it. Very smooth. This is a smooth Cab. By the way, it's 80% Cab, 20% Merlot. And for those of you that have not really taken the time, oh, by the way, got the tablecloth. This was my original tablecloth that I bought for my wine store way back in the day. Well, not that far back, I guess around 2007, that I used for my wine tasting there. I still have it. I use it at some of my events that I do. A lot of wine stains. I love it. It's got the wine bottles. I picked it up at some store on the mainland. I like it. I'm going to use it. It's pretty cool. I think I used it as a backdrop like in episode 2 or something. It was funny. Do you remember that one? The backdrop. I tried to change, you know, a couple people said maybe you should get rid of these blinds in the back. My bar sits in the front of the house, right next to the front door, which hardly ever gets used. That's why we do that. We have a sliding glass door. We have a back door that we use all the time. It's right next to the driveway. So that's why I do it here. And I really like this setting. I like it a lot. I got my wine rack, all my wine stuff. My wife's been really cool about getting everything set up. Anyway, why did I get on that tangent? Oh, I was just talking about the tablecloth. Back to Buried Cane. This is a really good wine, very smooth, but it has balance. It's not over the top fruit. It has good fruit. I get a little bit of vanilla, perhaps from the oak. The red flowers are really cool. I like that kind of violet thing going on in there. A little bit of lavender. No, not lavender. Violets. Good structure. Good acidity. I don't see this wine aging for a super long time. I would say I would give it maybe 4 to 5 years. It will improve. But right now it's drinking really good. This is the kind of wine that a lot of people will like. This is a nice, across the board, 80 to 90% wine, Cabernet Sauvignon, that people will really like. I'm excited about it. I'm glad I tasted it. I might order a stack for the store because I think it's a really good wine. I think they have a deal on it. If you buy so many cases, you get a little bit less. I think it drops it down to 13 bucks, which is a great value for this wine. Yeah, there's a nice brightness to it. A little bit of licorice on the back end. I like that. I'm going to go B+ on this wine. I think it's a great wine now. Drink it now. It's really drinking good. The reason I got on that tangent, I remember now, going back, 80-20, 80% Cab, 20% Merlot. In the United States, all you have to have is 75% of that varietal to call it that. So this has more than 75% Cab, so they can call it a Cabernet Sauvignon. A lot of you don't think about that, but that's the way it is. So, you know, depending on what they put in with it, sometimes they'll add Syrah, which really changes the flavor profile. But this has Merlot, which is one of the Bordeaux varietals, and Merlot really does add a nice, well, it adds that flowery element to the wine, which is a real plus. I like this wine, B+. Good job, guys. Let's move on. So this one was a big hit at my wine tasting. John House came up from Oregon. He reps the Olay Wine Imports. They import Spanish wines, obviously, by the name. And this Gordo really was popular. It rolls in at $15. And this is Campagna Divinas del Atlántico Gordo from Yecla. You don't know where Yecla is. You got Madrid right kind of in the middle of Spain. Down south and to the east is Yecla. Very warm area. This is Monastrell Cabernet Sauvignon, and it gives the percentages 70% Monastrell, 30% Cabernet Sauvignon. So you see, they don't have the same rules in Spain that we have here, so they can do whatever they want. This is 2012. Here is the bottle. Kind of a cool bottle. I like the label, kind of old school label. By the way, Monastrell is also known as Mourvedre. And Jancis Robinson says that we should call it Monastrell because that was the original name for it. But in France, they call it Mourvedre, especially in the Rhone Valley. Very interesting nose. Almost has like a clay element to it, like a baked earth meets clay. Almost like I'm getting like beets. There's a little bit of black licorice coming through. Very earthy. I get the fruit, but I get the earth. Big time. It's kind of a earth meets fruit sort of thing going on. almost like you know what I'm getting on the back end of this? I'm getting a little bit of rubber boot, like, you know, right inside, when you smell inside a rubber boot, I'm getting that. Interesting nose. Let's see what we get on the palate. I'm proud of my group for liking this wine so much. I really am proud of them, because this is not your typical red wine. That rubber boot element comes through. Now, I'm not sure if they would think rubber boot, but that's what I'm getting. Meets plum, meets a lot of plum, meets boysenberry, meets baked earth. There's a lot of things going on in this wine. A little minerality coming through. I know I said baked earth, but I mean more like the crushed rock minerality. A little bit of white pepper action on the backside, which I find very curious. Interesting, there's a nice little map on this. Let me see if I can catch it on the camera here. See if you can see that. See where it shows, I think you can see it. Right on the top label in the back, see where it shows Yecla in Spain, down on the southeast side. Okay, enough of that map action. That's cool when they do that on the label. I really like that. And it gives you percentages. This has everything going on with it. Cool label, percentages of wine, they are rocking. Good structure, good acidity. It's smooth, but it has that grit on the backside. Very proud of my group, for picking this wine and liking it. It means their palate has really evolved over the years. I've known some of these guys for many years, and I've known what they buy. They bought in the past. Now look at what they're buying. They're reaching out, they're trying new things, they're liking them. That's awesome. I think it's really cool. I got to go B+ on that wine. Maybe close to A-. It's a good wine. Good choice, guys. Really like it. Moving on. Now, these are all wines that get good press. Barry Kane, Forbes magazine, Gordo, my group, big group, liked it very much. Now we're going to move on to Kevin White, 2013 En Hommage Syrah, Yakima Valley. Kevin White, when he first started, he started with a bang. This dude got on board right away and got a lot of press, and he still gets very good press. I have not seen anything on the 13 yet. There's probably something out there. I have not found it. This rolls in at $28. The only thing I can say about Kevin White is I was a little disappointed. His first vintage was like, I think, around 23, 24 bucks. And then he got some really good press, and then boom, $28. Just like that. I know these guys got to make money. I understand that. But sometimes it's kind of gets to me when they go up. It just makes it harder to get more bottles. For me, that is. So this is 100% Syrah. Elephant Mountain, Olson Vineyards. Elephant Mountain is a pretty popular spot for getting grapes in Washington State. It's become more and more popular. Let's see what we get on the nose with this. Lots of tobacco, smoked meat, big time. A little bit of bacon fat, boysenberry. Get a little bit of blueberry coming through. A lot of red flowers. I love that red flowers. Always when you get a kind of a flowery component, whether it's wilted flowers, bright, fresh flowers, or in between, it's always nice to get that. It really adds a nice element to wine. I don't know about you, but I like that element in a wine. Yeah, love the nose on this classic Washington State Syrah. And I'll say it again and again, that some of the best Syrahs in the world come from Washington State and as we know, North Valley. But really, Washington does Syrah better than any other place besides France, in my humble opinion. Let's do it. very Syrah. There's a lot going on. It's still a baby. A lot of charcoal on the backside. That little like toasted charcoal thing going on. A lot of blueberry up front, blending with the red flowers. A little bit of boysenberry action going through. Pretty complex. I mean, I can hardly wait to Matt Kramer wrote a book with, I think, 7 essential words for wine. And, you know, we like Matt Kramer gives us a lot of fodder for our blogs, my blog, because he says some, what I can, you know, a lot of us consider kind of, not ridiculous, but sort of ridiculous, kind of, you know, snobby, pretentious stuff. And it's fun, you know, I mean, I like, you know, obviously he's got a gig at the Wine Spectator. He's well respected by a lot of people. But, you know, I don't like that pretentiousness. I just do not like pretentious words. He says we should use the word layered. Layericious. This wine is layericious. I can see this Syrah evolving nicely over the next 10 to 15 years. It's a baby right now, but it's very smooth. What I mean by a baby is it's kind of tight. It's a little bit tight. It's not showing all the colors. It's like the dude that's really built, but he wears a baggy shirt. You know, the tighter the shirt, the more it shows. The older this gets, the more it will show. But it's a very good Syrah. It's classic Washington State Syrah. White peppers, tobacco, blueberries, boysenberries. It is a good bottle of wine. I'm very happy I got a chance to try this, and I'm going to go A- on this. Hedging towards A. I think it's a great bottle of wine. Kevin White is a great winemaker, and he keeps up the faith. So thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. You know, someone looked at some of my views. It's so funny what videos some people really like and some they just kind of, you know. But I appreciate the support. Please continue to watch the videos. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Make a comment. I think, Mike, I really appreciate that comment you made on a past video. It means a lot to me when you guys comment, especially you boys and girls that sell wine to me. You should be commenting. Make a comment, especially if your wine's involved. Matthew, Tom, those are guys that have given these wines to me and or have presented them to me. I hope they appreciate the reviews, and I certainly do not review a wine. I review all my wines honestly, the way I see it. All right, remember, wine is not a mystery. It is just fermented grape juice. Drink it. Enjoy it. But be willing to try new things. Always try new things. That's important. Expand your palate. But never, ever, ever let anybody tell you what you should or shouldn't like. And if you do that with me, together we can take the snob out of wine.